Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Toyota session. Wow, we've been looking forward to this. My name is Casey, and I'm your student host for today. I am currently studying law with psychology, and it's very nice to meet you all. I'd like to introduce you to our speakers. We've got Karen. She's a qualified industrial psychologist, and she's been working for Toyota for 14 years. She specializes in talent management, and her key functions are psychometric assessments and organizational development. She also does graduate, bursary, and general recruitment. Our next speaker is Sertia. Sertia is a recruitment specialist. She's been working at Toyota for the past 5 months, but I bet she knows a whole lot already. And her focus is also on the graduate, bursary, and general recruitment. So let's hand over to Toyota. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Cassie. Hope you guys are okay. It's a bit of a very funny feeling to have to stare at a screen, knowing very well that there's 10 million people that could be watching us today. So welcome. Thank you for taking time to meet us this afternoon. So we've got 3 little topics that we want to take you through today, and I'm hoping that that's going to be as useful to you as it was to me once in my life. So I want to introduce you to 3 of my colleagues. They are currently graduate trainees, and I want them to share with you, what the experience of a graduate program is. Okay, and guys, we're going to try to speak as loud as possible. We are wearing our mask and being as safe as possible during the pandemic. Okay, so bear with us with the mask. How do you call this? Muffling. Eh? Okay, good. Samuel, do you want to start with you? Who you are, where you're from, what have you studied, and share with us, what are the key highlights of your graduate program? And then we'll move with you, Mbongeni. Also, tell us where you come from and, when did you join us at Toyota? And for you, what are the key things that sort of remain with you as a graduate trainee? And lastly, you're going to meet Melipaya. He's just joined us last year as well. And he will share with you, what his journey as a graduate trainee was. And at the end of the session, should any of you want to ask them any questions or ask me any questions about the graduate program, please shoot or chat or send me an email. Okay, so the floor is yours. Samuel, do you want to start first?
Yes, please. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samuel Maroka. I studied industrial engineering at the University of Johannesburg. I joined Toyota last year in February. I'm originally from Limpopo. And so far, what I could say about the highlights of my journey here at Toyota is that it's been amazing. One of the biggest highlights was, relocating itself, moving to Durban, a new city, being booked in a very beautiful beachfront apartment. That was so exciting for me. And, how we actually treated and how the transition was actually made smoother by the TSM staff and, with Karen as well. So that's been one of the highlights. Another one has been, when we joined Toyota, I think 2 or 3 weeks later, we went on a team building as graduates, and it was such an amazing thing. We went into Ushaga Marine, and we just had fun, and that was an icebreaker for us as graduates, just to get to know each other, and I think that also made the transition quite easy. And another thing was, getting to work in the plant itself, working as a team member, touching the product yourself, knowing exactly how your contribution actually gets to the product itself. That was also amazing. And another thing would be, when we were trained in technical, we were trained on hand skills. That was an amazing skills that we acquired as well, because going forward, we're able to utilize those skills even at home, not only here. We can also utilize those skills even at home. And yeah, those were some of the biggest highlights. And if I may continue, Kara,
Yes, you may.
If I could advise anyone who wants to join Toyota, I would say, first thing that you need to look at is what exactly are you expecting from the graduate program itself? Because it offers a variety of things, There's so many things that you could plan. What are the expectations in yourself, and also, your willingness to relocate, because, it's a multinational company. You're bound to, be relocated at some point. So you must be willing also to relocate, and you must also, get a professional resume, because it's a highly competitive market. So many graduates actually apply here, and you get to meet the best of the best. And I would say, get a professional resume or a curriculum beside the scene. And yeah, I think that's all from my side.
Okay. Thank you, Samuel, so very much for sharing that. And guys, if you have any questions for Samuel, and want to touch more about the training that he received, but also to talk a bit about the relocation that he experienced, moving from, Limpopo, to Durban, he's going to be here as well, and you can ask him as many questions as possible later. Hi, Mbongeni, do you want to share your journey with us?
All right, thanks, Karen. Hi, everyone. My name is Mbongeni Khoza. Born and bred in Inanda. Unlike my colleague here, I was already nearby TSEM, so that was much better for me. I joined TSEM in 2019. In that phase of my life, I was transitioning from university, and luckily at that time I had a campus job, and in my mind I was the best IT personnel that I could imagine. But getting into TSEM, I got exposed to many different things. And in terms of my highlights of the graduate program, I could think of, like my colleague mentioned, having to join TSEM. That was very nerve-wracking. I was so shocked that I'm chosen out of so many applicants. And I remember having to join, going to the test track. We got into the vehicles. Yeah, I've never seen a Corolla drive so fast.
Yeah.
It was amazing. That was really great. And I've gotten to meet so many different people, connections in life that I'll keep forever, even if I were to leave or whatever were to happen. So that has been an amazing experience. And one of the major highlights for me as well is having to work with the product, having to touch the vehicle. Coming from where I was coming from, I thought I was just an IT coder, I made code, but having to actually give me the opportunity to touch the vehicle, I built a few Corollas in my life, and I'm so proud of them. So that was quite exciting as well. And finally, having to join my team. I'm currently working in the cybersecurity team, and that is exciting. We're doing a lot of work in our dealerships, so that's some of my key responsibilities at the moment. And then moving over to advices, I think for me, there's just two things that I would just mention. The first one, I would advise someone who's looking to join Toyota to keep an open mind. So for example, if you're in the IT space, I'll just make an example.
Yes.
If you're in the IT space, don't box yourself into one set of discipline within IT. My experience, I thought I was the best coder in the world. I'm no longer coding at all, but I'm still working within IT, and I have my hand in many different parts of IT. So that's one major thing. The other one, I would say, and it's a cliche because you may have heard this in the past, but you get hired for your attitude and not for what you know. It's the unlistened things that will make you keep your job. But you can always learn the skills. You can be the best, whatever, technical, whatever that you can be.
Yes.
But the soft skills, if you do not have, you might really lack on that space. I think that covers everything. I'll let my next colleague.
Awesome. Thank you, Mbongeni. And a lot of times, people don't necessarily associate Toyota as a company where an IT graduate would want to come through. But you can pick on Mbongeni later and pick on me as well, and we can describe to you the different disciplines that we have at Toyota. So it's more versatile than just engineering. So we've got careers in HR, marketing, communications, industrial engineering, chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, IT, so quite diverse. Thank you, Mbongeni, for sharing that with us. I think that's valuable lessons for them. Hi, Melikaya, last but not least.
Thank you so much. Afternoon, everyone. My name is Melikaya. Studied mechanical engineering at Nelson Mandela University. It's down in Port Elizabeth. Also coming from Eastern Cape. And yeah, if I would like to share some of my highlights throughout the graduate program. I just lost the screen. Thank you, Sasha. I think coming from all the way from the Eastern Cape, I think obviously the relocation and moving to Durban, accommodation from Toyota where they allocated us. I think it was one of the first few highlights. It paints a picture in terms of how Toyota treats their employees, how they treat the graduates. I think throughout the graduates or the recruitment process, I got to have or take my first flight.
Yeah.
I think I was the first one in my family to go on a flight because of Toyota. So so now I hold it. So now I hold those rights. But also, it's such a diverse company.
Yeah.
You meet a lot of diverse people from different backgrounds in our own entire group, and you get to engage. You get to learn about other cultures. But also, as Mbongeni has alluded to, you get to build up some connections that will last you for a lifetime. And thirdly, I think coming from a mechanical engineering background, I think the automotive industry is like one of those that we aspire to work in. And having to join a world-class leading company like Toyota, and having to get some exposure and experience in the plant. You get to see how the car is being built from scratch up until it goes to a dealership. And not only that, but you also actually get to be a part of it. You actually get to build your few Corollas, as the colleague has alluded to. So that's quite nice and exciting. But also, as you've mentioned, there's so many disciplines within the company. You actually get the opportunity to touch on all those departments or disciplines. So as a mechanical engineering guy, I got to touch on the industrial engineering side of things. Through your in-house courses that we do in Toyota. We also offer some in-house courses that touch on, for example, production systems. That is something that I would have, never had the opportunity throughout my varsity years or any other place that I would have been. So that sort of gives you a bit of exposure and experience in other different disciplines as well. So that will cover my highlights of the graduate program so far. And in terms of advice, I think as some of my colleagues has alluded to, there's quite a, how can I say, there's a lot of competition out there. I think with our 2020 intake, I heard there's about more than 5,000 applicants.
Yeah.
And I was part of the 20, so I'm proud of myself for that. But
9,474 applications, and you were one of them.
So
awesome.
Yeah. So you need something that will make you stand out.
Yes.
You need to be you need to be able to show the various skills. This could be throughout your varsity years, throughout any project you might have been involved in. So take note of any project that you're doing. Keep that in mind. Apply yourself as best as you can. That one particular project, you could show to the recruiters or to Toyota that you possess various skills.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that they'll be looking for in terms of what you've been involved in, what have you done, and what was your role through or on a particular project. And also be open, willing to learn, willing to relocate, and just apply yourself as best as you can, and you'll definitely make it. Even not making Toyota, but for the rest of your life. So yeah. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, Melikaya. So Last but not least, I was also a graduate trainee long time ago. And I joined in at Toyota, I needed a job sometime in my life, after finishing my studies. And I ended up in a temporary position at Toyota. And I thought, wow, this is a company that I really want to stay a little bit longer, but I needed an internship. So I applied whilst I was a contractual worker here. I applied for the graduate program 13 years ago. And it was an amazing opportunity, and I managed to serve my internship at Toyota. They've given me adequate training that that I wouldn't have received, I believe, in other companies. I know I'm talking from a Toyota, I could be a little bit biased, but I love my product, I love my company, and the type of interaction, networking, people that I've met. And one of the key things at Toyota is, respect for people, and truly you can see that in your relationship and the people that you meet on a daily basis. So these three gentlemen that have joined us and myself, we're part of this greater graduate community. And on a yearly basis, we recruit about 25 to 30 graduate trainees per year across various disciplines. And our adverts, Saoirse, go out somewhere around, July, August. And we'll reach out to most of the universities to put the date out there. You'll also see it on our social media when we advertise, and please do apply. We would love to one day see you in the seats of those gentlemen who beautifully described their journey to us this afternoon. So I'm sure we have a lot of questions, Cassie. Do we take them afterwards, after Saoirse and I speak to the students about their recruitment tips? What would you prefer?
There are quite a few questions. I don't know if we're going to get to all of them right at the end. So I think maybe we should just do 2 or 3 quickly, and then at the end we can deal with the rest. Is that cool?
Oh, we can do that. Go for it.
Awesome. So one of the ones is, how important is it to hire ergonomists?
I think that is a question from a student that studied ergonomics. So is that a question? Am I right assuming that this gentleman or this lady has studied ergonomics and perhaps wants a career at Toyota? Yes, from time to time, depending on the business need, there is a position that we do advertise. I think the last time that we advertised for specifically ergonomics was perhaps 3 years ago. It's not it's not in great demand. We do have a small team at Toyota, 4 to 5 people within that department. But keep your eyes on the others. You'll never know. So maybe that will be a discipline that we'll be targeting next year for the graduate program. But if you are applying for a position itself and not necessarily for the graduate program, please, go on our career website and, register, load your profile and your interests. And should that position come up one day, yes, do apply for it. Okay. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much. And I see we have a few older graduates as well. So we have a question. Do you consider people over 30?
Yes, we do.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then we have a lot of questions regarding law students. Do you guys have an internal law department? Do you take legal students? How does that work?
Very similarly to that question that we had for ergonomics. So that's not a discipline that comes up every year. I think the last time that I recruited for graduate in legal type of studies was in 2018. So should it become available, yes, please do apply. We do have a legal department. It's a very small department consisting of 3 legal specialists there. And they normally do your litigations and your IR type of, dispute resolutions within the company. So they fall under the HR department, yes.
Okay, awesome. And then we also have a few questions relating to internships, bursaries, and vocational work. If you could just give some insights on that too, please.
Awesome. So we've got a beautiful bursary program. So on a yearly basis, we offer about 8 to 12 bursaries, depending on what you're studying. But generally, we look at offering bursaries in the field of IT, HR, marketing, engineering. So the quick thing to do for you is to get hold of me, and I can put you in contact with the service providers that normally manage our bursary scheme, and then they can tell you when to apply and how to apply. Okay. And on a yearly basis, we run. It's a beautiful bursary. You also said something about back work. Am I right? Vacational work. Yes. Vacational work, it's not something that we do at Toyota. The reasoning behind it is because of our manufacturing environment, we don't always have a capacity to host individuals, for vacational works or non-graduate internships. So we try to limit the internships to either graduate recruitment, or we also got an apprenticeship school or a learnership program that we run. Yeah. But no back work at this point.
And then we just have questions for your graduates. I hope you guys cool to answer.
Yep.
How have you found it working at Toyota? What is the culture like? What makes Toyota special?
Myself, for me, I think it's the ability to be flexible. That's one of the major things. Ever since I've joined, there's no project that I've been interested in joining and I've never been a part of. Also, one thing that I've been mentioning, I'm currently doing my post-grad studies through Toyota. So having to get that opportunity to study something outside my discipline, which is project management, it's really exciting. So Toyota is really the place to be. Does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you. And then last question, how does it work with international students who have studied IT or something in that field? Are international students on the same footing as South African citizens?
It all depends on their qualification. So what have they studied and where have they studied? So generally speaking, international students, perhaps we need to look at their transcript to see whether or not it's comparable to, how we gauge academic transcript in South Africa. But they're most welcome to contact me. I think that's a one-on-one type of discussion that we can have outside of this forum. Yes. So please, you've got my details there. Email me, and we'll give you a call.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very, very much. I think that's it for the questions for now.
Okay, so guys, thank you so very much for joining us, and then I will see you very, very soon. Guys, thank you. If you have any further questions for the graduates, please feel free to chat with us after this, and I'll make sure that the questions are posed to them after this, and then we'll reach out to you with some answers. Okay, awesome. Cassie, I just need 2 seconds to just present my screen.
Okay, no problem. I'll keep everyone busy. Wow, guys, how great. I think they're doing a great job. I know how nerve-wracking it can be to be on camera with so many people. I am trying my best to answer all your questions. There are a lot of you, and I am trying to get to it. Just a little note, if you could please post your questions on the Q&A, not under the chat. I'm trying to work through the Q&A section. Also, please do not post your chats in the chat on the screen. It must be to the right of your screen. If you are in full screen mode, please make it smaller, and on your right you'll see there's a chat bar where everyone's talking, Q&A, everything's there. So please just, yeah. And then also remember to join on Thursday. GradStar is giving a little bit of a giveaway, so be there. And yeah, if there's anything specific let me know. You can call me by name on the chat and I will try my best to get back to you.
Awesome. I'm ready, Kathy. You can tell me when to shoot.
I'm going to mute myself now.
Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm back. I just want to introduce.
Karen, sorry.
Yeah.
Just click present on your presentation to make the presentation bigger.
From beginning. There is no present. Okay, this one.
Down at the bottom. Or from beginning. Yeah, that works.
Got it.
Not yet. Just click on play from beginning in the top left of your screen.
There's nothing on my top left. Let's see.
Hi, Karen. This is Peter coming from Technical. What's happening is you are sharing screens, but you've shared the back, the notes side of your presentation. So if you want, I can share your presentation from this side, or if you try share again, which would be easier for you.
I think you can share. You can see how technologically old I am. So please help me with that one. I'm just going to take out this presentation from the screen and go back to where we're supposed to be. There we go.
All right. You are showing now. If you just want to tell me when to click next, I will rotate you through your slides.
Perfect. So I don't know if you guys can see my colleague next to me. So I'm quite black there under my name. So hopefully, can we just introduce Saoirse quickly?
Start video.
Karen, just so you're aware, most can only see your presentation. So it takes up full screen. So you ladies will be in the background.
All right, so we'll introduce Saoirse at the end then. But guys, in the background, you have my colleague Saoirse who's joined us. And Saoirse has been with us for a couple of months now, and she's been helping us, you know, in the talent management team in terms of recruitment. And Saoirse comes from a background of recruitment, but I want to give her some time to introduce herself because I think that there are some very, very key lessons from a recruitment point of view that both Saoirse and I can share with you today. So Saoirse, do you want to perhaps introduce yourself?
So hi everyone, my name is Saoirse. I've been in recruitment since 2019. I've started off with bulk recruitment and then I specialized with freight and logistics. So anything and everything within freight and logistics I was recruiting for, and then I got lucky enough to join Toyota and assist with the grad program, which is very exciting. It's been such a great journey. But you know, sitting in the recruitment field, you learn every day about the do's and don'ts, and it's just life skills. You know, it's not only skills that you can use, you know, when applying for a job, but in general, it will help you. So those are just some of the things we're going to be chatting about today.
Awesome, awesome. So before we start with some recruitment tips for you, I just want to share with you a little bit about our graduate program. So if we can go to the next screen. Next screen. That's it. Next. Okay. So what we look for, you know, on a yearly basis, you know, we look for engineering students, we look for accounting students, IT, computer science. Statistics is quite a new discipline at Toyota, and lately we've been hiring individuals with computer science. What is it?
Computer science?
Stats and mathematics. Right?
Statistics, yeah.
And also individuals with the qualification of human resources, sales and marketing. We're always looking for sales and marketing candidates. So please, you know, these are disciplines that come up quite regularly. Same, so, you know, as a question from one of the students earlier on, you do have, you know, sometimes we advertise for law. We also advertise for ergonomics. So be on the lookout for our adverts. Okay, and the next slide.
I think that what Karen just discussed answered a lot of the questions that came up about the disciplines that we recruit for.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes.
Okay, so now we're going to jump into some key interview tips. So the good thing about, the current situation that we're in, where we were thrown in the deep end with this pandemic, so we had to adapt quickly our recruiter's skill. And I prefer that face-to-face interaction, and it was challenging, eh, Saoirse?
It was difficult, yes.
So we sort of gathered a few notes of what we've observed as recruiters to help you, because I don't think the pandemic is going away anytime soon. And if it is going away, I think a lot of recruiters are going to love using that online platform, maybe Teams, Zoom, Skype. And as recruiters, I want you guys to be aware of that if you're not already aware of it. So these are a few things that we want to share with you. On the next slide, please.
I mean, the world is changing so much now. Everything is so technologically advanced. So, I mean, even if there wasn't COVID, at one point, I'm sure we would be heading to everything being online.
Yeah. Okay, so the screen is quite tiny. I'm just going to stretch my eyes a little bit, but I think I remember my advices was like, number one thing that I've noticed with students is, we set up a meeting for, to have an interview with them or to have a presentation or even to catch up, and most of you don't know how to use Teams, Skype, or Zoom. So my advice to you, biggest advice to you, get the link, practice with one of your friends, mimic, what would normally happen in an interview. If you are asked from your presenters, from your interviewing panel to sort of present a topic, do the same thing with your friends, with your peers, or even go on YouTube and find out, best presentation, tips. But I need you to sort of practice. Trust me, it's just going to make, your experience of an online interview awesome. So practice, go on YouTube, check with your friends, send them a link, let them interact with you, be comfortable with those online platforms that generally recruiters use for interviews and presentations. Okay.
Know how to share your screen, know how to use the tools on that platform, where the mute is, how to put your camera off and on, how to see who's in the meeting, to know what waiting in the lobby means. No one's ignoring you. It's about to start. Just knowing the tools is very important on each platform. Each platform obviously is different, so that's where the research part will definitely come in.
Yeah, and one of the things also, Saoirse, you remember when, say for example, people will log in through their computers versus logging in with their cell phones, or using both at the same time. And I promise you guys, if you're using your laptop, choose your tool. Whether it's a laptop or a cell phone. Using both at the same time, it kills your network. So your broadband and the speed at which you're coming across to your interviewer is so slow. So just be on the lookout for this. So sometimes, depending where you stay, combining your laptop and your cell phone to sort of access Zoom or access Teams or access Skype for an interview may not be the best option for you. So play with your options well.
It's going to conflict, if you're logging in on two devices, definitely, yeah.
Okay. And Saoirse, I think that was Saoirse's, I think it was a sore moment for her, when students will come and they can't join us because network. We know network is not so great in South Africa. I'm hoping there's no Vodacom or MTN people. Please take cue of us. Do something for our network. Help us. But network is not stable in South Africa, and we need to be, aware of this. Whether I stay in central Durban or in rural Durban or in any town in Durban, network is not stable. So I always say to students, try not to connect through Wi-Fi. If possible, go to somebody who's got a stable connection, so that you can present yourself in your interview well, and it doesn't break that conversation that you're having with your interviewer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. That's exactly what you're saying. It doesn't matter on the area that we're living in. It's so up and down. It's so radical. You don't know what's going to happen. So I think it's good to log in maybe at least half an hour before, test again with the friend, just double check your speed, what's happening, can you put your camera on? Because I mean, that's going to be another point that we discussed. That's a big part of it. Obviously, having it online, we want to see you, and internet, doesn't sometimes cater for that, where yes, we'll see you and then we'll ask you to put it off to accommodate, to increase your bandwidth. But ideally, we do want to see who we're talking to.
Yeah. And that's very important what Saoirse is saying. For a recruiter, I love seeing the person. I love connecting. I want to see who you are. I want to see you, I want to connect with you on the day. So just make sure, in terms of your background, and most of those online platforms have those background settings. Pick and choose what you want, whether you want a balloon, whether you want to be in the seaside on the day, or a professional background, but choose a background. All those little things, they contribute to, the manner in which you're presenting yourself on the day, okay? And to lead to that, I think any recruiter that you will ask will say to you, dress smart, dress for the day, okay? So if you are going for an interview, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's online, be aware of your environment. And lastly,
a lot with the dressing, it said use lighter colors, use solids, don't use polka dots or stripes or any print that it's quite distracting. So I mean, if you're using a tie, use a solid color. Background also, keep it professional. We don't want to be on the beach.
Yes. I love my beach background.
Yes, there are some companies that love it and that are happy with it. But I think just to stay on the safe side, you want to keep a light background as well.
Neutral.
The reflection all around you, it brightens you up as well. And that's important, obviously, because you're going to have your camera on.
So, guys, I hope these are things that could have, help you a little bit at your next interview. But definitely, these are things as recruiters we think are important when you present yourself as a candidate. On the next slide, it's the same type of information. I think whether you're online, whether you're face-to-face, Saoirse, the only thing is you need to arrive on time.
Always be on time. Always be early, in fact.
For me, it goes back to, I don't want to sound like a lecturer or, somebody that's helping, but, it's common sense. It's respect for people, you give back. So the panel is there on time, be on time as well, dress smart. Be aware of.
That's another life lesson, Karen. It's not only for interviews. Be on time with everything that you're doing. I mean, that it shows respect for anything that you do in life, not just an interview, but whatever you're going for, whether you're going for lunch to meet somebody, be on time. It's important to the other person.
Awesome. And the last but not least interview tip that I would love to share with you. One of my questions, and you can ask people that that normally interview every year with us, they will say to you, I always ask this question, what do you know about Toyota? Do you know what Toyota does? What products do we make in South Africa? For me, the reason why I ask this question is not to trick anyone, but I want to see this person coming through to say, hey, you know what? I'm passionate about Toyota. I want to work for this company because I know this company is #1 manufacturer. I want to work for this company because I know they got international class type of training. I want to work for this company because guess what? They're based in Durban and it's beautiful, beaches in Durban. But take pride in any organization that is interviewing you. Do your research about the company, who they are, what they stand for, and most importantly, what is the role that you're applying for? Research it, Google it, find out what is it about. Okay. So these were just a few tips from Saoirse and I. So I hope it was helpful for everyone. Cassie, can we move to the next screen?
I think with the research one, even when you're researching the company, if you know your panel, go research them as well. At least you'll have some background information.
Yeah. And Saoirse has added a slide there. And if you guys want us to share that information with you, we'll also email it to you. Just a little bit about your CV as well. So make sure that your CV is well structured and it covers all the information that is generally asked from a service from recruiters, which is your full name, your surname, your ID number, your aspirations, your academic record, your career history. Very important. We want to know where you're coming from and where you're going in life, you know. Disability, if any. If you can go to the next screen. Right. So as I said to you, these were a few tips that we shared with you, Saoirse and I. And please, it was an honest conversation. We may have missed out on 10 million other tips. But this is what we think will make a difference at your next encounter. And we hope to interview you soon. So now on a less serious topic, Saoirse, I think we got some prizes to give away. Am I right? Haha. So, Cassie, I don't know how it works. So I can't throw something at somebody. It's the screen, eh? So I can't reach out to somebody and give them something. So I just wanted to make it a little bit difficult for you guys. So what I would love for you to do, okay? We've got this Toyota Facebook page. So I'll encourage you to go like our page. That's number one. And number two, send us a personal message. So you all have my email address. Send us a personal message and tell me what did you like and what perhaps you would have liked to see in this presentation. Is there something that we missed out on that perhaps in the next career fair we can share with you? Okay, so number one, like our Facebook page. And then number two, send us a private message telling us about, you know, your experience of this presentation. And if it was valuable, and if it wasn't, tell us how we can improve. All right. And then we'll reach out to you. And hopefully we'll have, you know, a couple of winners. Okay. So Cassie, that's all from my side.
Awesome. I think we must move on to questions. What do you think?
Yeah, that's good.
We have an overload of questions. So one of them is about the fourth industrial revolution, which we are now living in, and digitalization. Will your employees be negatively impacted? And how will Toyota create new opportunities, or will it limit job opportunities?
That's interesting, because that was one of the questions that I asked to graduate trainees applying for the graduate program this year. And I asked them, what did you think, you know, one should do to make sure that, you know, it does not impact society? Any digitalization or, you know, move towards the fourth industrial revolution, yes, definitely it's going to have an impact on your company. But us as an employer, we have a responsibility towards our employees and the manner in which we conduct business. So no jobs will be lost, but you will reinvent yourself. So there is this element of rotation, there's this element of retraining, there is this element of understanding where you are at this point in time and where you can be. So we will always have a home for people in our organization, irrespective of the changes that happen.
Okay, great. I think that's very nice for everyone to hear, because everyone's so scared of the fourth industrial revolution. Then we have another question. Does Toyota headhunt from LinkedIn?
Not from, I just went yes like this. Yes, we headhunt, but no, not from LinkedIn. I don't know. Hey, I've got a LinkedIn profile, but we don't have a Toyota LinkedIn profile. I'm not too sure. Should we have one? Should we not have one? I don't have an answer for that. But yes, I do headhunting. Sorry for the mixing here. And we do it with the help of beautiful recruitment agencies that we partner with and recruitment portals. So they identify those key skills that we may need at a specific period of time, and we do headhunt.
Okay, great. Another one is, are extramural activities or university engagements important for you guys, for graduates?
I think it's important for anyone. You know, why would you want to just, you know, live life, without getting involved in the world around you and what's happening around you. So, and if you find joy and a work-life balance in spending time in society or with kids after hours or in tutoring or, doing some other extracurricular activities, go for it. Is it important for me as a recruiter? It shows something about you, but it doesn't mean that somebody that did not partake in those extracurricular activities is on a back foot, because we must also acknowledge, do we all have the time to do so? Some students may not have the time because they're working to pay for their studies. So for me, yes, it's awesome if you can do so, but as a recruiter, it's not something that I will disadvantage anyone from.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's great. We're getting a lot of questions about how Toyota manages mental wellness within the company, especially with the new graduates.
Yes. So we got this beautiful program at Toyota, and most companies have it, guys. So whether you're applying at Toyota or any other organization, they generally have a department called EAP, Employee Assistance Program. And our employee assistance program is sort of manned by a company called ICAS. And we've got social workers, we've got specialists there that, at any given point in time, should there be a need for someone to reach out, to a specialist to get some form of assistance, perhaps now or, on a regular basis, the facility is there for employees at Toyota, whether you're a graduate or not a graduate.
That's great, really. It's good to know that big companies are looking after their employees. It's very important, especially during COVID, everyone their mental health took a dip, and it's very great to hear that you guys look after your employees like that.
It's employees and their family. It's available to their immediate family as well.
Oh, so yes,
they take care of their circle.
So it's you
and your immediate family.
And your immediate family. And it's not only about mental health, it's also about, for me, for example, it's been a year that I've been diagnosed with being diabetic. And I was able to access a dietitian at work. I was able to access in-house medical practitioner that gave me advice on how to, sort of change my diet and not eat sweets, but I still eat them. But yeah, we do have facility like this, and most companies do have, those. It's not only employee assistance; it's called something else. Health services. There it is. Yeah.
Okay, and then another question that we have is, how do we apply for the Toyota graduate program?
So our advert is gonna come out around July, August. So what I normally do is I reach out to most universities, Durban, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Western Cape, Eastern Cape. So I send them posters about the graduate program. I also post with your career website at the universities. I also have recruitment agencies that advertise on our behalf. I also have our bursary partners, who is Study Trust. They also advertise on our behalf, and also on our career website, we do advertise there. So please be on the lookout for our advert around the period of July, August.
Okay, awesome. I think that answered a lot of people's questions. Let's see, what else do we have here? Do you have any training contracts for students?
A training contract. So a graduate program in its entirety is a training program. So we do register you with the CETA as a learner, and you do sign a training contract within the CETA to say that you're a learner at Toyota for a period of 2 years. So your first year of your graduate program, we expose you to different types of training, maybe production training, technical training, your general skills training, and then in your second year, you get to rotate in different departments and partake in different projects that will sort of stretch your ability to apply yourself as a graduate trainee. But to answer your question, do I sign a training contract? Yes, you do sign a contract with the Masita, and we are employing you as a graduate, so you do sign a Toyota contract as well.
Okay, great. And I think very important question that I think many of people are itching to know. At the end of the interviews, most interviewers ask, are there any burning important questions you would like to ask us? To you guys, what would be, as a graduate, what would be an important question for me to ask you guys in order to impress, or what would you recommend?
I think, take cue of who your panel members are. So if on your panel there's a set of HR individuals there, you can ask them questions around the company, questions that generally is not easily accessible. Like, for example, I had questions from interviewees about, do you have an international transfer program? That's not something that generally we would advertise on our career website, but that's an important conversation to have, knowing very well that Toyota is an international company. So you as a future employee would want to know that. And then the next question is, I don't think people should shy away from understanding benefits because it's a lifelong decision. So, you can approach a discussion as well with your HR practitioners and say, what are the benefits that I do get as a graduate? And, after my graduate program is finished, what are the expectations? Could I apply for a permanent position at Toyota? Go for it. These are questions definitely, that would benefit your decision. But also if the panel members, for example, are from the IT department, for HR department, or marketing department, why not ask them questions about their field of discipline? What's the future of manufacturing in the next 10 years? I'm sure that will inform any mechanical engineering student, in their career, because those are the guys that actually touch the product or make decisions for our industry. So ask those questions, interact with them. It's a beautiful platform to do so.
Okay, awesome. And a question I'd like to ask both you and Sersia, what are some of the benefits of working at Toyota? Have you had any international trips? What makes Toyota so great?
The cars. I think, over 14 years, I got to drive every car that I wanted to drive. Okay, my passion was to drive a Hilux, and I was so happy. And I'm quite a shorter person, so you can't see me on the screen. But just to sit in this big bucky and and drive on the road, it was awesome. So I loved it. I think being so close to the product, that was my highlight because I knew where the product was coming from. The benefits are beautiful and amazing, and I'm not being biased by it. I've worked with quite a few companies in the past, and I can sort of compare. But the one thing that truly was amazing to me was there is an opportunity for international, transfer. So it's not open. I'm going to be honest about it. It's not open to everyone out there. But if you're given the opportunity to do so, it is available. So these are my highlights. And you, Sersia?
I think it was stepping into the factory and watching a Hilux be built.
Yeah.
Just to watch how everything comes together and, watching them just pull a Corolla around like, no, it's nothing, but that was just the body. And at one part, I was talking to a guy and I'm like, hey, your trolley is going away. But his trolley wasn't just rolling away. He was actually controlling his trolley as to where it goes. And I was like, oh my word, that is mind blowing. And then another small thing that it surprised me in a way, just from coming from other companies, is everybody that you walk past says hello. And they are genuine about it.
We love to be.
And people are always happy at Toyota. And I think that's where the whole respect thing comes in. Is that people are always happy. And you think like, are these people okay? That is just their culture, and everyone's smiling. And obviously you can't see it, but you can hear a smile when someone tells you hello. I mean, they may never see you again, but you're getting that hello from someone.
Hello, Sashi.
Hi, Karen.
That's great to hear. Wow. So you'd say the culture at Toyota is quite fun, happy, a nice atmosphere, a great day at work.
It is. It is a happy place for a lot of people, yes.
No, that's great to hear.
I want to say something, it's also about what you do. No company is going to bring you joy or satisfaction if you don't make it for yourself. You also need to network, and you also need to interact. If you stay in your own little bubble, you're going to miss out so much on life. So interact with people, talk to people, say hi, and that's going to make an amazing journey for you.
Yeah, the quote comes to mind where they say, if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I get that kind of vibe from Toyota. I think it's great.
It is. It is. You see it with people coming in. They're happy to be at work.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, I'm going through them now. There are so many. One that I did see was, when you work for Toyota, do you get to visit the other branches as well, or are you just stuck to your branch?
So let's put it this way. If you work as a graduate trainee, we start the training in Durban. That's your core of your training. You're going to be here at least 6 to 12 months on training in Durban. If, for example, the position that we're going to choose for you to rotate into is in Johannesburg, then some of you will move to Johannesburg. But the bulk of the graduate program training and rotation is in Durban. If you apply for a position at Toyota, Toyota is in Durban and in Johannesburg. So depending where you're applying. Yeah.
Awesome. Another one is, how likely is it for someone who goes through your graduate program to be employed full time? What's that like?
Okay, so we've got we call it a placement rate, okay, that ranges anything between 70 to 90%. And 90% mean at the end of your graduate program, depending on your performance. So you guys need to perform, you need to learn well and achieve. And at the end of your program, should you have performed well and there is a position available, we will encourage you and we will help you apply for that position. So that's about 90% of people do get some form of placement. And I say form because it can either be a permanent position or a contract position. So there's no guarantee what you would get at that specific point in time.
Okay, I see. Yeah. And then I just have one burning question that I've been seeing in my other webinar that I did. Will people with diploma qualifications be considered?
Yes. My minimum requirements, ladies and gentlemen, is a national diploma. And that's on all my adverts for however long I've been on the graduate program. So years ago, we used to have degree, but now we do consider national diploma as well.
Okay, wonderful. I think that's made many people in this webinar happy. And one last thing, what is something you'd like to leave with our attendees today?
I think, reach out to recruiters, okay? Don't feel shy, reach out on LinkedIn, reach out, you got my email, reach out on platforms like this. I think, the more you interact with your future employer, you get to know about them. I think I found home at Toyota, and Toyota may not be your home, but you need to be able to build those relationships and learn about those organizations to sort of find your home. So start early, interact. You see an exhibition from Toyota or from any other organization, put your hand up and go for those things. Interact, know your product, know your organization, because once you put your foot there, you want to be happy. You want that level of engagement and job satisfaction You don't want to regret the choice. So please, no one is forced into a career. Choose your career well. That's my advice to you. Saoirse, do you have anything to share with us?
I think it's just to add on what you said. It's choose your company well. It should match your personality. Toyota is a fun, bubbly company with everybody being happy and everyone's excited and always looking for innovative ways to do things, change things, improve ways. So I think if that's the type of person you are, definitely, please do apply. We want to see your application.
Yes, we want to see it in July, hey?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. You were great. Everyone, let's say thank you to Saoirse and Karen. You guys were really wonderful, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity that you've provided for the students today. Students, I would just like to remind you that this session will be available on demand after the session, so you can just click on agenda again and then click on this session and you can watch it all over again because it was great. And remember, guys, GradStar is doing a giveaway on Thursday, so please be a part of that session. Thank you, Toyota, for this wonderful opportunity. And thank you so much to our main sponsor, Investec. Yeah, so that's it for today. Well, for me, anyways. Thank you so much, Karen and Saoirse. It was lovely to meet you guys.
Thank you so very much. Thanks, Cassie and everyone. And thank you, students, for coming through and listening to us. I hope it was helpful. Bye-bye. Stay safe.